Hello, welcome back. And the next step you're going to is to create the platform where the tank will be resting or will be placed. So the tank will be placed on top here. So what we need to create is the platform, and to access the platform, you need a cage girder, a cage ladder, and a walkway just to walk around the tank. Now let's start by creating the secondary beams that will be suspending that will be providing a seating for the tank. Now let me come to steel, then come to steel beam. Now our tank will extend this way outside on the direction of y by some few meters, like 1.125 meters, just to provide a walkway where the floor will be a checkered plate. So let's get started here. And the full length of our beam will be, the secondary beam will be 5750 or 5.75. 5.75. Now let me just snap on top there, then enter. Then the moment I've done so, I want first of all to create the extension, create an offset that will be that offset will be a provision for our walkway. So that will be a dy 1.2, 1.125, 1.125 or 1125 millimeter. So I'll go ahead and click enter and come back to the same position and click on it, and that is a wrong step. So we have to start all over again by click and do. Let me snap on that and enter, then click on, hit enter, then I'll come back to the same position, because this is the offset of 1.125 we wanted for the walkway. So I'll just snap on the original position, and I'll just go ahead and click enter. So the moment I enter, now I'll feed in the remaining measurements that will even include the another offset on the other end, that will include that will be 46 and 25 or 4.65. So we have to define on the direction, this will be dy, but on a negative direction, and that will be 4625. That 4625, and you enter that, you're able to see we have that offset on the other end, and we can click on that and turn that around. So this it's actually good, but on the wrong position. It's positioned wrongly. So we have to click on it, then press Control E. Not Control E, will press, let me just click on that, Control Q. That's wrong. Click on that, Control Y, and that's how you shift. So to reposition your member, you use Control Q, E, and W. So the moment I've shifted it up by Control W, please note that. So once I've done so, I want to copy this on the other end. So if I right click and come to special copy and click linear, and take into account the distance from here to here was 3.5. I think you can still remember that. And if you forgot, I can just come back here and close that and double click on this grid line, and you'll be able to see it is 3.5 or that 500 millimeter. Now I'll come here and select on it, right click and come to special copy here and click linear, and I want to offset it in the X direction. You can see that by 3.5. So on the XYZ section here, the moment you're offsetting in a particular direction, the rest of the remaining coordinates should be 0. So in this particular case, we're working on the X direction. So I'll come here and feed in 3.5 like that, and just go ahead and click enter and close that. So I have this in place. So I want to create other beams on top here that will now be suspending or providing the actual seating for our tank. So this will offset on that direction by 1.635. Let me do that. So the total length of that secondary beam will be 6.770. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick on the beam, then I want to snap on top here. So the moment I mouse over this, you'll be able to, you will be able to notice that there's no snapping points here unless I press Alt. is when you'll be able to see, but that will not be accurate for in our case. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a point. So I'll come to edit and come to that drop down arrow and pick on the point and pick on a position there at the middle of that beam. Then come here and do the same thing here. Let me just locate that. This is just a point just to define our absolute point when creating an offset to that direction. That will be also creating our walkway positions. So I'll come to steel, then come to beam here, then just mouse over that point and enter. So the moment I enter on that, I'll be able to define the direction on the other end on the x direction by. So let me just type dx, and which by what distance do you need to offset that? We'll give 1635, but that will be on positive direction, so we don't need to prefix this dimension with a positive sign. So what I'm going to do, I'm going just to press enter. So the moment I press enter, you'll be able to see this is the 1.635 from this point. So I'll just come back again and mouse over this point and enter. So the moment I enter, I want to move in this direction by a measurement that I'll define here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to prefix I'm just going to type dx with a measurement prefixed by a negative sign. So that will be 5135. This 5135 includes that offset of 1.635. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just go ahead and click enter. So to click enter and zoom out, you'll be able to see I have this extension here and that we have that extension here. So I want to offset this member upward. I want to extend it, I want to push it inward by 100 millimeters. So let me just select on it, so don't need to right click anyway. Just right click and come to special move and click linear. So I want to move this inward by 100 millimeter. Just let me just change that to 0, take that to 0 right there. So this time round, we're working on the y-axis. So I want to prefix that dimension with a negative sign because we are moving in the opposite direction of y-axis. So let me just feed in first of all the negative sign, then I feed in 100 millimeter, then I'll click move. So the moment I move inward by 100 millimeter, I'll be able now to take this up by pressing Ctrl Q, not Ctrl Q. Just select on that, but press Ctrl W, and that member will sit right on top of this secondary member. Now select on that, then right click and come to spatial copy, then pick on mirror. So my mirror line in this place. So you can still go ahead and define your mirror point by snapping on that spot and snapping on that spot. So we have our mirror line in place. So I'll go ahead and click mirror. So we'll have that member on the other end. So we want to distribute, we want to copy or create other members similar to this inside here, and the number will be 5 of them. So we'll need to do some basic maths with regard to that, so that we get the actual interval measurements between these. So we need 5 of them. So if I click on this and right click and come to spatial copy here, I'll come to linear, then come on this copy distance dialog box. So we want to distribute this along the along the y-axis, but in the opposite direction. So how many do we need? We need we need probably 1080 right there, 1.08. And how many do we need here? We need probably 5 of them. Probably 5 input. Maybe 4 will be okay. Put 4. Then if I click OK, you'll be able to see we have all of them in place. But if I turn this around, you'll be able to see they're well distributed on the top. So if I close that, you'll be able to see it's neatly done, and we've started creating the platform for our water tank tower. So you can see that's how it's done, and that is our fourth workflow in creation of elevated water tank. Thanks, and let's meet on the next part.